Hey friends, it's executive producer Johna. Now, I can't promise that I did not fangirl over my next guest for the Can't Commit to a Book Club. And I can't promise that there was not a little bit of chaos because Captain Socks decided that he wanted to be a part of the interview as well. But my next guest gave me all the grace and all of the laughs. Please enjoy my conversation with audiobook narrator and author, Joe Arden. Welcome back to a super fun episode of the Can't Commit to a Book Club with me, executive producer Johna from the KJ Today Show, and my absolute, I've only talked to him for 2 seconds before this even started, but he's already my best friend. Please welcome the king of narration, Joe Arden.
Oh, wow. That is an extremely kind introduction. And yeah, you are not kidding. We dove right in. I logged in. We talked for 2 seconds. Said, you ready? I said, let's do this.
Look, Joe, I'm not going to lie to you. It's like 9:30 at night where I'm at. So.
Okay. So we're pushing up on bedtime here.
My cat's already asleep, so it doesn't really matter.
Isn't that all cats do?
Until I decide to go to sleep. And then he's like, actually, I should be awake.
This is one of these things that I find really repulsive about cats. And then the sitting on the face thing. I have friends who tell me that their cats sit on their face when they're sleeping.
Oh, no. No, me and my cat have an understanding. Like, he's very much like me. He's like, oh, yeah, people. I love people. And then when he's done with people, he's like, okay, bye. I miss you.
I'm not even necessarily saying that I'm opposed to having a cat sit on my face, but I'd like to be
I guess it depends on what kind of cat it was. But that's
how many minutes into this interview are we?
That's none of my business. Look,
just having a very chill chat about feline companionship. That's it. That's all we're talking about.
Anybody who follows the KJ Today Show, you guys know that I do actually own a feline. He is my best friend. He's asleep right now. He's rude. I was just telling my friend before we got on here that I was going to start out super nice, but I just want to talk to you about why you felt the need to make me cry when you wrote your book, The Chameleon Effect.
Oh, when you started that sentence, there was about 3 or 4 book titles that flashed in my head. And the book I wrote was not one of those. And so you just made my whole day in the first 5 minutes. So thank you very much. That means a great deal to me. I cried a lot while I wrote it, but I feel like it hits a little different for me. Listen, that just means so much to me. I really can't tell you. Like, I'm releasing that book was the single most terrifying thing that I have ever done in my professional career, and I can't wait to do it again.
Do we have another book coming out?
There is a book coming. We're looking at a spring situation. The problem is I narrate a lot of books, and so carving out the time for myself to get the pages written has been a little daunting, but I'm really grateful that the William and Raven's story moved you.
Sobbed. Okay, I was at work listening to it, and I was like sitting at work crying. My coworker was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Everything's fine. Don't worry, I'm fine."
I cried when I wrote the prologue. So,
dude, when I listen to like audiobooks, I don't listen to the acknowledgments or anything. I was like, I listened to this man's acknowledgments, and I was sobbing. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, the acknowledgments hit different for me on this one. And here's the thing. So this is really interesting that you brought that up, actually. Here's the fascinating thing about acknowledgments in audiobooks. They're actually impossible to do because they're written by the author, and they are very frequently in the very authorial voice. And they generally have a lot of names of people that no one knows except for the author. So I don't know. First of all, I don't know who Denise is. I don't know why we're thanking Denise, and I don't know how to pronounce Denise's last name. So the acknowledgments become an extremely daunting section of text for an audiobook. But I finished recording, and I had the PDF in front of me, and I kept scrolling past the end, and there were the acknowledgments. And I was like, you know what? I wrote these, and I know these people, and I get to bring voice to this. And I actually shared it, and the engineer that worked on this book for me, who's basically my most trusted engineer and advocate, like he's the person that listens to everything that I really need an honest set of ears for in every possible way. And I said to him, these were actually really hard for me to do because they hit literally close to home for me. So I said, if it's too much, like I can do them again, or we can just scrap them because they're never in books. And he was like, man, these are lovely. They're just lovely. So yeah. So the acknowledgments made it. My favorite part of the acknowledgments is when I admit that my father may or may not have helped me cheat on essays in English class.
I was like, what a good dad.
Well, I was like, yeah, it's like he helped me a lot, like with the structure and word choice. And so at some point, I'm like, is this technically cheating? Maybe, but here we are. I wrote my own book, so I think it
It's
worked out.
it's not cheating if he's just helping. He didn't write it. He just was like, you should indent your paragraph here and maybe take this sentence out.
Do you remember those sweet days when the only cheating you needed to worry about in school was if your parents did the work for you?
Oh my God. No, because one time, and look, my parents know about this, and I was just talking to my sister about it. I actually got caught cheating on a test once. And it was
Yeah.
and it was
Okay.
the day of parent teacher conferences.
Oh, that's not a good time to do that.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna get away with it. And then my parents were like, you can't watch TV for a month. And I was like,
I got caught cheating on a test. See, I wasn't cheating,
okay.
but so this was a history class and it was a AP class. And the first semester we had one teacher and the second semester we had a different teacher. And the first semester, the teacher was like, these are the outlines for the essays. And you basically just need to memorize these outlines. You don't even need to write essays. They just have to be in outline format. And then the second semester, this other teacher, so like we were learning these like rubrics, like these sort of like templates in our head. And he changed the verbiage of one of the questions. Like he took a to and he made it from. So it changed the whole meaning of the question. And I like laid this outline out. And he was like, you took this outline. I was like, yo, no, we were told to take the outline. Like we were like, this was what we were supposed to do is memorize these outlines. And there was a brief moment where I thought I was getting kicked out of high school, but it all worked out.
Well, well, that's pretty intense. Mine was in elementary school, so mine wasn't that
What?
bad.
What are you doing cheating on tests
It
in
was a
elementary
spelling
school?
test, Joe. It was a spelling test. And you know what? After I got caught cheating on that spelling test, I literally became the best speller. I was like,
All right.
nope. I'm a writer also. So I was just like, nope, we're going to do better.
Because I was going to say the only person who loses when you cheat at a spelling test is the person that cheats on the spelling test because you didn't learn how to spell anything.
I did learn how to
But
spell.
it sounds like you lit a fire. So what a story.
My origin story for how I started writing.
I love it.
I heard that you like to make music playlists.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to know, what kind of music are you putting on these playlists and where can I find them?
I have a Patreon community. It's called Joe Arden's Audio Attic.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to patreon.com/Joe Arden. It is an 18 and over platform. So you can't search for it. You need to know the web address because sometimes we're doing playlists and other times we're not. And music has always been a really important part of my creative process. In fact, I got to interview Sarah Kate the other day, and I talked to her about her writing process. Oh, Sarah Kate.
She's great.
I couldn't believe she said yes, she would talk to me. So everything you just said to me, I was like, oh no, I get that. Because this is just me with Sarah Kate like 2 weeks ago. So we talked about the fact that like music can put you in a mood. It can get you out of a mood. It can enhance a mood. It can change feelings. It can just do so many different incredibly powerful things. And it has become a really central part of character creation for me. Because when you tell so many of these stories, I think it's important to do everything you can to differentiate and identify the specific nuances of each and every one of these characters. And after 500-600 of them, that can become challenging, but music can be a real gateway. Like you read the book, you prep the material, then you think, like, you know what, this guy's giving me real Kenny Chesney vibes, or he's giving me real Drake energy. I don't know. Like you just like you start to feel something, and then you find that music that then helps you get in that place. And sometimes with characters like I narrated Jesse Hall's That Sick Love with Desiree Ketchum, music I actually listened to before and after every single chapter that I read for that book. So because music is so important, and I hear from so many folks that music is important, we have made monthly playlists an integral part of the Audio Attic experience. So I drop a playlist a month, and I really try and make them all about some kind of vibes. So there was a hot minute, like when I was doing Arrow, and there were a couple other guys, like there was a very heavy sort of period of dark romance. And so it was a lot of like cinematic, like Grandson, and just some things that like Ramsey, and things that were just really atmospheric, dark, dangerous, Daisy. So that was that vibe. And then after we had that kind of period of darkness was like, you know what? Like, we're into sort of summer and I'm feeling this like love is love energy and just celebrating everybody's form of love and how they love, and put this really fun playlist together of just all these different tracks that celebrate all the different ways that people can love each other. And so that became something. And obviously, like, they're different beasts. And now at the end of every year, I throw a best of together. And with some of the community, we have a monthly listen through. And I play like little snips of the tracks and talk about them. And we just have a little chill sesh. It's good times.
Man. God. Okay, fine, Joe. I'll put in my credit card information and join the Patreon. Okay, I'll join the Patreon. You don't have to sell me on it. I'll be there.
What they say is that they come for Joe and they stay for the community. And I did not come up with that phrase. Truly, that was organically grown from the community itself. And it's one of the most touching and powerful things that I've ever been a part of. Like, people believe in my creative energy and showed up for this space and then found out that there was this community growth element here. And I think particularly for fans of romance audio, a genre that is like boringly maligned. At this point, I'm so tired of having to defend romance as an outlet, as an artistic expression. I'm like, guys, these arguments are tired now. We've actually all moved on. In this space, there's none of that. Like, that gate's already down. It's just such a nice way to be in this space where, like, you're just free to love what you love and celebrate the stories that you love and not have to constantly defend yourself to people that you went to high school with that you don't even know why. You're like, why am I, where, how did I know you? What is our connection? Show me connection history. You know? And why do you give a what books I read? Sorry, can I say
Don't worry, I could edit it.
okay.
I was on the phone with my friend before we got on here, and she was like, he's just a person. I was like, he is a person. But he is a great person.
Yeah.
He made me cry multiple times.
I'm just a person. And we're talking. We're doing it.
We're chatting. We are. We're doing so good, too. So proud of us.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. Okay, now I need to cut that snippet out and just play it before I go to bed. I'm just like, this is the self-affirmation I need every single day.
I'm not trying to like sell the audio attic here, but that is also a part of the audio attic. We have weekly community like intentions, and then for one of the tiers I have monthly affirmations. And yeah, it's all about feeling good. It's all about feeling good and loving living and life and love.
Coming from the person who has narrated probably like almost 1,000 romance books, I would say you're probably all about love.
Yeah, I really am.
Man, what are you going to do when you hit your 1,000 mark? You should throw a party.
I've already thrown some parties. I'm talking about we've had some like blowouts. Like, I threw a party in downtown Los Angeles that was like legit. It was opposite the main branch of the LA Library. It was outdoors. We had cocktails and I did a live reading. It was like there was hundreds of people there. We did signings. Everybody got dressed up. We had a DJ. It was legit.
Joe, I live in Indianapolis, okay?
There were people that came, I believe, as far away as Maine. I shook somebody's hand who came out just for this party. Came from Maine. So.
Look, okay, I need to be on whatever mailing list that is for the Joe Arden party because I will absolutely take PTO to go. Okay. I need to be on that list. Like, I need you to write Johna from the KJ Today Show.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I need.
It's done. I think if you just followed me on social media, you'll at least find out when I'm doing things live and out in the world.
I'm not going to say that I stalk you on social media because I absolutely don't, but I definitely follow you on all the social medias.
That's the reasonable thing to do. Also, I think we're all in our stalker era right now, so feel free. Let that stalker flag fly. I think everybody's finding their inner joy in either being stalked or being a stalker. And I'm here for it. I think it's great.
I think it's because of all the dark romances. Because
it's exactly what it is.
They're very. I can do it with some dark romances, but I was trying to read. What was I reading? Haunting Adeline, and I absolutely just could not deal with that book, so I just stopped reading it, like chapter 9.
Yeah. Listen, for some people, they really like it. And one of my favorite things, the social media accounts that I follow and the things that I see from Romancelandia accounts that I really love, and Book Talk accounts and things like that, are like these women that really highlight how amusing and simple and obvious to them and the community, the distinctions between fictional men and real life men are. like, like, yes, I have no problem with a man telling me these things and doing these things in a book. Try it IRL and let's see how this goes. But boy, is it fun for me to spend a little time melting into some pages with some of that stuff. And it's great. They're like, that's just, it's fun.
They're not wrong.
That's what stories are for. Man, creativity and imagination are the things that are the most fertile parts of our childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And they get systematically eroded. They just get chipped away. Work, school, loss, feelings, puberty, like a job, bills, like all these things start coming at you and taking up the space that used to be filled only with imagination, hope, excitement, creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And books are the purest way of reactivating that creativity and that imagination.
Oh, preach it. I don't know what's in your brain, man, but 10 out of 10. It just all those words, A+. I love it. As you can see, like I've got a billion, like I think it's like books like over here, and then I've got 1 million on my Kindle. And people are like, why are you always reading romance books? Or why are you reading YA? And I'm like, because it's more fun to read about somebody else finding their happily ever after with their perfect man, or some teenager who thought that they were ugly and some boy thinks that they're pretty. What do you want from me? It's the simple things in life. Tell me I'm pretty. That's all I want. Like, you can't fault me for wanting to read about someone finding happiness.
You shouldn't. More people do than should, and I just wonder what it is they think they're entitled to and why exactly they have so much time to be worried about what other people are doing.
I think they're bitter.
That's the part that always comes back to me. I see some of these things and I hear some of these people and I'm like, don't you have anything else you can be doing now? Literally anything else?
No.
Is there a sourdough starter somewhere that you could be cultivating? Keep bread alive and stay out of my books.
Look,
I don't know why. Wouldn't it be cool if every became a baker? And everybody stopped complaining about other people's lives and we were all eating croissants all the time.
Oh my God.
They fold the butter into the dough. Of course you can a croissant. Everybody should be able to do that. They fold it. It's got layers of flaky pastry and butter.
Joe, stop. I have to go to bed after this, okay? I can't just be like, ooh. I can't just be hungry before I go to bed. I don't have croissants here.
Late night.
Late
night. There's no 24-hour patisserie in downtown Indianapolis.
Okay, I'm not going downtown at night. It is dangerous. Oh. And the only other place I could go would be like Insomnia Cookies.
Okay. Are Insomnia Cookies are all over the place?
Yeah, there's one. Yeah, they're...
I remember seeing Insomnia in New York. I thought they were a New York outfit.
It might just be like, because there's some here in Indy. I saw some in Kentucky. Maybe it's just like a East thing. I don't know if they have them out in LA. There's a cookie shop in Westwood, which is where UCLA is. It's just across the street from the In-N-Out Burger in downtown Westwood, and it's called Dee Reese. At least I believe it's called Dee. My friends and I always called it Dee Reese. And they do just like the simplest, no fuss cookies. They got like 6 flavors: sugar, chocolate chip, M&M situation, and then they've got like 4 ice cream flavors. And you can make an ice cream sandwich with the any 2 cookies you want and any flavor. I want 2 M&M cookies and the mint chocolate chip ice cream, please. That's where I'm at that's my Dee Reese order, and they're open. They're in like the college part of LA, so they're open super late. Yeah, I think Insomnia Cookies is open until like 3.
With the name like Insomnia,
Yeah, there's been plenty of nights where I was out in Broad Ripple. It's like the party part of Indy in Broad Ripple, where I'm just like, I want some Insomnia Cookies.
Yeah.
And then like the line's out the door because everybody wants Insomnia Cookies at 2:00 in the morning.
Interesting.
Yes, it's a good time. Joe, you
It's
should come
tacos for
to
me.
Indy.
I never want anything sweet at 2 o'clock in the morning, but I will eat.
He said, I will wreck a taco.
I will wreck a taco.
Honestly, hey, you ever had Condados tacos?
No.
Joe, you got to come to Indy, okay? You come to Indy, I'll take you to Insomnia Cookies. I'll take you to Condados tacos. Do you like cheesecake?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. I'll take you to see the cheesecake lady. She makes great cheesecake.
She's not also the person making the tacos. These are two separate establishments.
These are all different places.
Got it. Okay. Listen, I'll tell you this. I'm here for any and every food tour that you want to take me on in any city. I love knowing people in places who take me to the places they love to eat. I actually think that's really the whole purpose of travel.
I felt that.
Hang out with people that you care about and eat food that you don't normally eat. Even if it's the kind of food you normally eat that somebody else made, that somebody else likes.
Oh, yeah. Mine is bookstores. My friend lives in Oregon, and she lives like right down the street from the biggest used bookstore like in the US or something like that. And I was like, okay, so I'm coming to visit you because we have to go here because I have to buy the whole store.
Yeah.
If you make it up to Oregon and you go, I need you to let me know how it is because it just sounds. Can you stop? I'm sorry, my cat. You can see my cat.
I can see the cat. Yes.
That's my cat.
Yep.
That's my cat. Captain Socks. That's my boy.
Hello, cat.
That's my
Captain
boy.
Socks. Or you went with the goofy name.
Yes, it's like a super long story, but I love Chris Evans, and so Chris Evans was Captain America, obviously, and then in the movie Lightyear, which is like the new Buzz Lightyear movie, he had a cat named Socks, so he's Captain Socks. That's my cat.
Can I just say one thing, John?
Yeah.
That story was shorter than you think it is.
Look.
You said it's a long story, and then without even taking another breath, you told the story, and I think you did it in like 2 sentences.
Look, I can be concise. It's just I didn't tell you like the whole backstory about how I met the cat.
You didn't tell me that, and I'm
could've.
actually not sure why the film Lightyear or the character Buzz Lightyear really speaks to you. So we didn't cover that aspect of it. However, the name of that cat, you got all that information out there pretty quick.
But tomorrow's our 1-year anniversary
With the two of you together. Happy anniversary.
Thank you. It's been a year.
My book just turned a year old, so I looked this up. So I know that the 1-year anniversary is paper. Don't cats like to shred paper? You get your cat some paper to shred.
My cat, no, because then I have to vacuum that up. I don't want to do that.
Okay.
No, thank you.
You make it like a bank statement, and then it's
like a bank. Joe, who gets bank statements? You get paper bank statements?
So I actually, that's a funny story. I do have one account that they are like, they just refuse to acknowledge that I consent. I like, please stop sending this to me. I'm not opening it. I receive it. I know what it is, and I rip it into 4 pieces. I've gone into the branch. I have emailed. I haven't called because it's not worth my time. That's not worth my time. That level of customer service. But so the answer to that is yes, but unwillingly. I have consented. If you can hear me, bank, please. It's fine. I know how much is in the savings account because I can log into your website.
I also still get paper statements, even though I get them to my email. They're like, here's your online statement. And I'm like, oh, cool. And then I'll go to my mom's house to pick up my mail. And it's just like all of these bank statements. I'm like, I don't want this. This money's already gone. Why are you sending me this?
By the time you receive it's like a museum of your past finances.
By the time you get this, I will be gone. Yes.
That's basically a book. It's like the book of your money.
I also stalked your website, and I found out that you rescue pit bulls.
It makes it sound like I do a lot more work than I do, but
I just want you to know that I say thank you for rescuing pit bulls because they are like one of the most hated on dog breeds, and it makes me so upset because I know a lot of pit bulls, and they're the sweetest dogs I've ever met in my entire life.
Yeah, dogs are just like any other creature. There are potentially some generalities that you could bring together, certain things you could think of to like especially with dog breeds. Like, for example, pit bulls are one thing that is true is that they are strong dogs. They're
Mhm.
muscular and they're strong. So an angry pit bull is more dangerous than an angry chihuahua. I have seen far more angry chihuahuas. This is just like experiential evidence here, but I've seen far more angry chihuahuas than I have pit bulls. The problem is, not the problem, but like you never hear about the angry chihuahuas because an angry chihuahua can't do anything. So
Right.
you're like, okay, whatever. He's just an annoying dog that yaps a lot and you can't do anything with. But one mistreated or poorly trained pit bull is strong enough to do real damage. And I think the important thing here is dogs are smart. They want to be stimulated and they want to be engaged and they want to be activated. And so if you give dogs things to do, then they're happy and they're tired. And so are you because you're working with that animal and you're creating a bond and you're playing games and you're doing activities. And so, yeah, if you can, and shelters are not an awesome place to spend months of your life. So even if you've gotten yourself out of a bad situation where a lot of these pit bulls end up either in these sort of breeding farms or they're tied up in the backyard and things like that, then they go from there to a shelter where they're just stuck in this tiny concrete cube. And that's not good for anybody's mental health. So fostering and just trying to, where I can give time, like create situations where dogs can get out of those environments for short term and learn some skills, and that goes a long way. And I just listen, I see other breeds of dogs and they do not move me. And I look at every single little pitty face and I just and I see people do it with other dogs. I'm like, I don't know. It's fine. Oh, this is just like a Labrador. I'm like, okay, he seems like a fine dog. Oh, you're a Pitbull. Look at your broad shoulders and your goofy little smile. Oh, look at your menacing face and your floppy ears. So, they just speak to me. They make me happy. And yeah, so I like spending time with them.
I get it. My sister has 2 pits, and when I come around, it's okay, Auntie. When you sit down, you cannot move. Like, we are yours. You will be sitting on this couch for 6 hours.
The pit bull that believes they are a lapdog is my favorite kind of pit bull.
Yes.
70-pound bruiser that you sit on the couch, they're like, oh, a place for me to rest? No, you're huge.
It is a place for them to rest, even though they can't fit in your lap. They're like, I can fit. Don't
Yeah.
worry. We got it. Yeah. No,
They're also, this is just a practical consideration, but they also have short hair. And so the amount of house cleanup is significantly reduced
yeah.
with the pit bull population. So
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time because I was thinking about getting a dog, and then I was like, oh, I'll just get a cat. That's a little less maintenance. But I was like, oh, maybe I'll get like a pit or something like that. And someone was like, oh, but those are like an aggressive breed or whatever. I was like, animals, like people, are taught aggression.
Right. Exactly.
If you teach them to be kind and loving, they will be kind and loving.
Yeah.
They don't just come out being like, I'm going to bite you. That's not how dogs work. Sorry.
Yeah, or they're another thing. So one of the problems with pit bulls is that the puppies are worth money, and people are separating litters. The babies have to learn behavior from each other. They learn bite inhibition. They learn the limits of rough play. How? The same way kids do. You're with your friends on the playground and you're pushing each other, and then one person pushes too far, and you're like, oh, okay, so that was too hard. Got it. If you take a 6-week-old pitty puppy and you separate it from its mom and its brothers and sisters, that's just heartbreaking all by itself. They may not get the socialization skills and learn the dog to dog behavior that would happen if they were just at least kept in a nurturing and safe environment long enough for them to then go out on their own. So, but there is significant amounts of money that certain people are making on that breed in particular. And so it's created this really rough situation with these poor little smush faces.
I know. They're so cute.
They really are.
Dude, every time I see my sister's dogs, like when we FaceTime, I'll be like, where's Kane? That's her pit. I'm like, where's Kane? I need to see him. How is he? And he like comes running to the camera. And I'm like, look at my big boy. Oh my goodness, you're so cute.
Yeah.
And then I give him little smooches in the camera. And then when I go to her house, he's, oh my God, my auntie's here. And I'm like, oh yeah, there's my boy. And I give him all the scratches and all the loving. Just love him so much.
Lagunitas has a Pitbull, the beer company. They have a Pitbull on their logo. Also, there's a there's an organization called Pause for Life Rescue, Canine Rescue. I'm not affiliated with that organization in any way, shape, or form, but I think from what I understand, they do incredible work, and they have a program where inmates in work release situations, so inmates that are going to be getting out of correctional facilities, get to work with pit bulls who are looking for homes, and it's a training program for the dogs, and it is work for the inmates, and they like I donate to them every year, and then I forget about it, and then I get a pack of letters, handwritten letters from
Oh.
the mostly men that work. I think they may all be men actually, but from the guys that are working with these dogs, and they're just the best stories. They're so great, and it's just a beautiful win situation. So that's unsolicited, and like I said,
he's like, I'm not affiliated, but you can always get affiliated, Joe.
yeah, if they reach out and they're like,
Man.
hey, can you help us do more outreach and advocacy? I would say, yes, please.
Absolutely.
Can I hang out with some of your dogs?
Honestly, that's really, Joe's like, I'm in it to hang out with the dogs. If
Yeah.
we're being honest, I just want to hang out with the dogs. But who doesn't want to hang out with the pit bulls? The dogs, not the singer.
I hang out with the inmates too, frankly. The whole situation sounds amazing to me.
That might be fun.
I mean, a buddy of mine used to teach Shakespeare. He was teaching in the East Coast, and he taught Shakespeare at a correctional facility. And I think, not to get too soapboxy here, but I think one of the things that is really frustrating about the American correctional institution is that it's built for recidivism. It's built for re-entry. And no one is taught skills. No one is shown compassion. No one is shown empathy. No one is shown a guiding, loving hand. No one is given permission to make mistakes. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't have a rule of law and that people shouldn't be protected by police and the legal system. Of course they should. But there's also got to be some space in your heart to understand that certain people are doing certain things because circumstances are the way they are for that person. So is it possible for us to create situations where, and I think they you pay for those crimes and you do that time, but when you've done that, we have to have room for forgiveness. We have to have room for people to get a second chance, and it's really hard. It's really hard even if you do everything right.
Please don't do that. Okay, you're gonna do that. That's fine. It's cool. It's whatever.
Cats know that I have very little love for them in my heart, and so cats know. That cat, Captain Socks over there, can feel it. During COVID, there was one of the PBS NewsHour correspondents. She was doing the things from home, and her cat kept jumping on the chaise lounge during her extremely intelligent news pieces. And it is incredible how quickly a cat can upstage anything that a person is doing.
Yep, and I just try and remain professional, but then he starts like meowing like super aggressively, and I'm like, what do you even want? Like, you got water, you got food, like your litter box is clean. I don't understand what you want. There's toys literally everywhere, so don't know what he wants from me. But I'm just gonna keep it moving, and I apologize.
It's not bothering me at all. So
okay, let's go to some fan questions. This is my fan question.
Wow. Okay.
I know. Your number one fan, me. My question. So we're gonna travel back in time to baby Joe Arden. Not like actual baby Joe Arden, but like fresh into the audiobook world. What was it like when you narrated your first romance novel?
I think, and like anybody that was getting into something, I was just green. Like I wasn't familiar with the universe at all. I didn't get the rules of engagement. I didn't know what a trope was. I didn't even frankly understand that it was a guarantee that this story was going to have a happy ending. It was, no part of it was explained to me in any way. And frankly, I got really lucky. My first book was written by L. Kennedy, and I really enjoyed the framework of the story and understanding that what is going to drive this narrative are the personalities of the people in this world. And that's why you can have 28 books where a firefighter falls in love with a baker. That part of it isn't nearly as important as who they are and what brings them joy and value and satisfaction. And it's nice to tell nice stories. No one should have to apologize for or answer for enjoying the feeling of hearing about things working out. That's not weird. That's like the most normal thing. I want it to work out. We all do.
Mhm.
And it doesn't. Life is complicated. And so there's something beautiful about the stories aren't simple. Just the structure has these guarantees, these mile markers, these touchstones that you get to visit along the way. And in that, you receive the comfort. And then the stimulation and the engagement comes from the uniqueness, again, of each one of these people and how it is that their two personalities, their two stories, their two backgrounds, their worlds commingle and become something that we all root for and that we all believe is going to make a lasting positive impression on the world. Even though we all know it's fake. But so what? We've suspended our disbelief. That's the whole point. You do that when you watch Star Wars too. Just take a look in the mirror here, folks.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
can,
no.
You do that with your stories too. That's the whole thing. So.
No, I get it. I told someone, I read it somewhere. Who knows if it's real or not? But it was like the reason that you get so attached to book characters, like you get so attached to fictional characters, is because you're spending all this time getting to know them. Your brain doesn't know that they're not a real person. All their hopes, their dreams, their feelings, and all of these things. And then somebody breaks up or somebody dies. And you're like, I was so invested. Why am I crying because somebody died on Matlock? Like, it's because you're invested in their story, because you feel like them.
You're crying because you've connected to the story, because the story is human. The characters don't have to be real. The good stories are real. And you see a part of yourself, a part of your world, a part of your parents' stories, a part of your community, some part of something that is in fact real and tangible to you. When a book is well told, when the words sing, they activate and awaken those moments, those spaces and places in your real life. And they remind you that you're not alone and that other people are out there feeling their feelings and doing their thing and trying to make it through to the next whatever. And so I think there's a part of your brain that still knows like these characters are not real, but because the stories are human and the feelings are emotional and those are real, those are always real, then we give ourselves over to them. And it does feel like life is for the big moments, the things you like, those are the ones. And like love, man, like what's bigger than that? Love and loss.
Two big L's.
So let's spend our time immersed in those stories.
Joe, quit trying to make me cry. Okay, I'm trying to remain not crying. I also want you to know that I just finished the book today, and there was a character who was from Belfast, and I had just got done listening to The Chameleon Effect.
Okay.
And when the guy was talking, all I could hear was your Irish accent when he was talking.
Okay, I do want to give the people of Ireland a bit of grace here and say that the accent that I am doing in the Chameleon Effect is not a proper Northern Irish accent.
It's not.
If you want, though, to get that proper North Irish sound going, I strongly recommend watching Dairy Girls. But there's the North's got a different kind of, we're doing it for pace, pace. I don't know. They're just different. The sounds are a little different. If I hear it, I could do a better job of it. But
yeah. I just finished that book like 2 hours ago. And I was like, wow, I really was hearing Joe Arden's voice in my head while I was reading this man's Irish accent.
I get comments like that from folks all the time that are like, now even books you don't narrate, I in your voice somehow. Wow, that's really rad. Like,
You live in our heads rent free, Joe. How do you let go of certain characters and have certain characters stayed with you over the years? I know you've done like a million characters, but has there been one that's just like, besides Will from the Chameleon Effect, besides that one?
Yeah, the character that won't leave me alone right now is Arrow Westwood. He's the character from Jesse Hall's That Sick Love, and that's one of these. Check your triggers if you are interested in diving in. It is a lot, but also give yourself an open mind and understand that the content is there. But I think Jesse does a really wonderful job of informing the scenes with content related to the characters that makes those moments come about for real reasons, and they're not just gratuitous, is the word I would use. When something happens for the sake of it happening, it feels gratuitous. When it grows organically from the story and becomes a part of the obstacles or the journey of the main characters, then I think that it's organic and I think it belongs. And I think that in this case, she did a really wonderful job. And that was a very deep dive for me. So there are others. There are characters that, for example, little things like some dynamic about their personality reminds me of my own personality, or they have a relationship with a parent or a sibling or a friend or whatever that speaks to the banter that I have with my brother or with a bestie or whatever. Again, that's why so many people write these books and so many people consume them, because we're looking for those. We love when we find those connections. Oh, you and this person talk the way me and my best friend talk. Or, oh, wow, that's the way my father used to show me affection. Oh, I don't feel alone now. Now, oh, someone else dealt with that, whether it's good or bad, whether it was traumatic or uplifting, just knowing that somebody else is inside of that space in some way is so exciting and comforting. So I think that's the other thing that will make characters really stick with me. And as far as letting them go, for me, getting outside, literally outside, is critical for me. Like just going on hikes and getting out into nature, getting as far away from the booth as I can in those moments when I can. That's what really helps.
That I need nature.
We all do, but yeah.
We all do need nature. My idea of nature is sitting outside and reading a book.
That sounds great.
If I only had patio furniture, I would definitely have done it more in the summertime.
I will say patio furniture seems gettable. Your dreams are in sight for next spring. Get Captain Socks a leash and you guys are outside.
No. So they asked me when I adopted him if I was going to leash train him. And I was like, I don't think I'm like emotionally ready enough to be that person outside walking my cat. I just don't think I can do it.
I would look at you funny.
Exactly.
I mean, not funny, just judgmentally.
Exactly. That's why I was like, no, I'm not going to have people looking at me funny. Sorry. He's an inside cat.
And that day, Joe lost all of his fans who walk their cats.
Look, a little judgment if you walk your cat, because some cats are outside cats. I have had, my siblings have had outside cats. Like, I have family who has farms. I'm sure they have outside cats. Like, I get it. But like me personally, I'm not going to walk my cat like I would walk a dog, because why does my cat have a litter box if I'm just going to walk it outside? That doesn't make any sense.
And listen, I think it's important for us to have passionate feelings about some inconsequential things and to understand that they matter in their meaninglessness. There's this shirt, or I don't know, there's some meme or something going around where like differentiating between, it's something like you don't get to pick and choose people that you hate. Like people aren't pizza toppings, and it's glib, but it's a really good reminder. Like certain things they're not up for discussion. Like you actually don't. Your passionate feelings of antagonism do not have any place there. Over here, however, I think like pizza toppings. I'll say it. I'll say it out loud. I like pineapple on pizza. All right. I've said it before. I will say it again. I think that you get that with some
controversy, Joe.
with some savory or some heat, a little ricotta, a little jalapeno, and some pineapple. Yes, please. Hook me up.
Joe, I just feel like we have to break up now. We were doing so good, and now I
get it. I get it. And I appreciate people's passion about those kinds of things. I think it's fun. And if I met somebody, I guess this is the distinction I'm trying to draw. If I met somebody who told me that they walked their cat I actually wouldn't. There would be no judgment about. There would be no actual human be like. I'd be like, okay, that's not for me. That's not a deal breaker as far as us getting to know each other and me understanding you better as a person. I just don't get it. But I'm also allowed to not get everything that everybody digs.
Yeah.
That's the fun of it. Just make room for everybody to like the stuff they like.
Yeah. I think my whole thing with pineapple on pizza, I don't actually like pineapple. I think pineapple's super gross. So yeah, I don't like hot take. I don't like pineapple.
It's cool, wet, refreshing, sweet. It has good texture.
No, it doesn't.
The only thing that's challenging about a pineapple is getting to the part that you can eat.
Which is none of it, because I would never. I have pineapple because sometimes every couple of years, I'll be like, okay, I'll try it again just to see if I still don't like it. And I still don't like it.
I heard a crash sound. Sorry. I don't know how much.
It's fine. Nothing broke.
That sounded like something broke.
No, nothing broke. One of my cookbooks that I don't use fell off my shelf, but it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. Don't worry. Everything's great over here. But yeah, no, I pineapple's gross. It's like watermelon. Like I hate watermelon, but I'll try it every couple years to be like, oh, let me see if I still hate this. And I still, in fact, hate it. So
I love owning cookbooks, and I really don't read cookbooks.
I own 3 cookbooks, and you know what I've cooked out of any one of them? Nothing.
The recipes that I do know out of cookbooks, I end up memorizing anyway.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh, Joe, you cook? I don't cook. That's. What you be cooking, Joe? Look, let's talk. What's cooking with Joe in the kitchen? That's what I want to know.
All right, let's see. I'm going to put myself on the spot here, and let's see if I can do this. The Joy of Cooking's French toast recipe is 4 eggs, 2/3 a cup of milk, 2 tablespoons of sugar or maple syrup, a teaspoon of salt. I think that's all the liquid ingredients. And then if you happen to have some like really thick sourdough, or like even better if you have like challah bread, dip that really like absorbent bread in there, get your griddle going, put salted butter down on the griddle, let the bread soak just enough so it gets to like the center, flip it, let it get to the center, toss them on there, and you're good to go. I think that's it. Oh no, hold on. A teaspoon of vanilla.
Yes, gotta have the vanilla.
A teaspoon of vanilla. Yep. That's what I forgot.
Gosh, I love French toast. Yeah. That's my preferred breakfast food.
There's a place in LA has the farmer's market. It's not just like a farmer's market. It is called the farmer's market. And there's a diner there called Dupar's. And I remember going to Dupar's with my parents as a kid.
Oh.
I would get like, I'm getting the French toast. Dude, I don't even know why you have a whole menu. Just be called Dupar's French toast, which, by the way, IHOP figured out. They're like, we don't need a whole. This is a house of pancakes. You just tell me how you want your pancakes. Of course, now they have a whole menu too. But
True.
I'd like to believe IHOP started saying, you know what? If you have entered this house, it is because you want pancakes.
I love IHOP. I haven't been in a couple of years, but I love IHOP. That's one of my go-to, because it's open 24 hours. So it's like, hey, what you doing? Nothing. You want to go to IHOP at midnight? Absolutely, because there's nobody there.
Yeah. Do you know what that is for me? It's the moons over my hammy at Denny's. I don't know if it's because I like it or if it's because I like ordering it, but catch me in a Denny's at 2:00 in the morning and I'll be the guy with the moons over my hammy.
Oh my God. I can't even believe you eat at Denny's. I haven't eaten at a Denny's.
I'm not. No, this isn't like I've never once said, hey, it'd be a great idea. Let's all go to Denny's. But sometimes this is what I'm talking about. The circumstances of life put you somewhere where all of a sudden Denny's sounds a lot better than you thought it would. And there you are. And those moons over my hammy are there for you.
What is a moons over my hammy? Is it?
I think it's a breakfast. I think it's like a breakfast sandwich situation. I believe. I think it might even be on like a challah. It's like on a doughy bread brioche kind of thing. Eggs, cheddar, and ham.
Is it good?
It's a breakfast. It's like a breakfast sandwich.
Okay, there are good breakfast sandwiches.
Yeah, of course there are. I mean, it's also a Denny's, so I don't know. Do with all that information what you will.
He's like, it's also at 2:00 in the morning, so I couldn't tell you if it tasted good or not.
Yeah.
It's just like Waffle House. You don't
Oh.
go to Waffle House for the food. You go because you need to soak up some alcohol.
Yeah, I remember my first Waffle House experience. I remember my first Waffle House experience, and I remember my first Cracker Barrel experience.
Oh, I love Cracker Barrel.
Listen, when I went to Cracker Barrel, I was studying in the South. I grew up in Southern California. I did not know what a Cracker Barrel was. And my friend of mine and I were going to a conference. So we're traveling, and he says, "Stop." He's like, "Let's go to Cracker Barrel." And I was like, "I don't know what that is." He's like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't know what it is." He's like, "It's amazing. It's country cooking." And it is. It's pretty amazing. They have like gift shop, and there's like little board games at every table. You can play checkers, or like the pegs that go in the triangle, and you got to try and leave one peg in the triangle.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so they have a they have a sampler thing there, and you get country ham, chicken and dumplings, and something else. There's another thing on that trio or whatever. And I was like, "What's my first time here? So I'm gonna bring me the full spread here. Let's dive in." I'd never even had chicken and dumplings. I was like, "What is going on here?"
Oh, because you've never been to the Midwest or the South, so
Correct.
like
I had not.
you never had that home. Joe.
So I was like, "Okay, let me get and Olive Garden is called the Tour of Italy. So I'm gonna say the Tour of the Barrel, please. Can I get the Tour of I'll take one barrel tour, please. The country ham, the chicken and dumplings, and I don't know, it's biscuits and gravy, something like that. And the waitress was like, "Now, do you want the white gravy or the brown gravy?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, you have different gravies." She said, "Yeah, honey." I said, "I don't. What is it?" She said, "Brown's like a beef gravy, and the white's like sawmill gravy." And I was like, "I don't know what." She's like, "Sweetheart, I'm gonna bring you both. What two sides? What two sides you want?" And I'm looking at the sides, and I was like, well, I've never been. I wanna. So I asked her. I say, "What's fried okra?" And she said, "Pardon me?" I said, "What's fried okra?" So you never had okra? Said, no. And then my friend interjected. He was like, he does not want the okra. And my buddy's like, it's like really slimy green. They fry it just in the hopes that you won't notice that this slimy green thing is inside of it. And I was like, I don't want that. She brought it to me. I ordered the mac and cheese. I played the sides safe. I got mac and cheese and mashed potatoes, something like that. She brought me the okra anyway, and it was very tough. And both gravies, so I got the full experience.
Man.
And it's good. It's comforting food. There's a reason that stick to your sides, just make you feel warm and loved. And I ain't got nothing wrong with that.
I love a good Cracker Barrel. My mom, because she used to be retired. She's not anymore, but like her thing to do with her friends on Sunday was like to go to Cracker Barrel. I'm like, "Mom, please stop going to Cracker Barrel every Sunday, because if you buy another nativity scene, I swear I'm gonna throw it away."
Here's the question. Do you have a grits order at Waffle House?
I don't like grits.
What? Yeah, but you have to eat them at Waffle House. It's like a third of their menu.
Look, hot take, I actually don't like Waffle House. The only thing I like at Waffle House is their coffee. I don't know what it is about Waffle House coffee, but like it slaps.
Waffle House is an American institution, and none of them should ever be allowed to close. They're incredible, and I love them.
I don't like it. I can't. Look.
Smothered, covered, diced, and sliced.
Look.
I believe that's like cheese. It's like cheese, ham, tomatoes, something else. I forget, but that's how I like my.
Okay, when you were at Cracker Barrel, did you get the hash brown casserole?
Listen, if it didn't come on the barrel tour.
Oh, bro, you gotta get the. Oh my God, Joe, you are missing out. Okay, the hash brown casserole is everything.
Okay.
Like, even when I go and get like dinner there, I'm getting hash brown casserole on the side.
Okay.
Like, next time you go
back and tell your friend, "Hey, how'd it go talking to that guy that you really respect and love his work?" "Oh, it's good. I'm really hungry. We just talked about food the whole time." We talked about American diner food. This is not even just food. We were pretty specific.
Very specific. Like Cracker Barrel, if you would like to sponsor the Can't Commit to a Book Club, then please, I would absolutely take your money, because I love Cracker Barrel. And
just go get a bagel somewhere.
A bagel. I do like a good bagel.
Okay.
I love a good bagel. You ever had Einstein Bros bagels?
I'm not going to say any disparaging things about food products on your show. I feel like you may be fishing for sponsorship. So
no.
Next question.
Since we are in the era of the dark romance, and I know that you're doing a lot of darker romance, like narration, which probably has to take a toll on you, not even just like on your voice, but like on your brain. how do you recover from that? Like, I know you say you go outside and you get in nature and stuff like that, but like, is there something else that you do that just like, you're like, man, that character really wiped me today. I need to do something.
I try and dive into the next one and try and take time to just be with myself and find ways to center my balance so I can dive back in. I relish the writing that's good enough and strong enough to propel me into those spaces, and I get excited when I feel so moved by those characters. And I don't think dark romance has a monopoly on emotionally overwhelming character building. So whenever a really well-written three-dimensional love story comes about, you get thrown into it with them. And again, these are stories that exist in the periphery of the human feeling experience. These are the feelings that happen at the edge of feeling. So you go there and then you pour a bourbon, or you play some soccer, or you hang out with a friend, or chess, or read a different book, or whatever you do, and then you dive back in, because I just adore what I do. And so I'm excited about it. It doesn't deplete me of energy. It always just fills me up.
Do you go out to do conventions and stuff, or are you more into just being in LA and stuff like that? Or
I've been trying to get out a couple times a year. Next year I am definitely going to be in Denver. Readers Take Denver, and thinking about possible other spots. I have some ideas for the fall that I'm working on right now. So keep following me online to see how those plans materialize. But we have some exciting things afoot for next year in the live space. But definitely Denver, and yeah, and I'm going to Triple Falls, North Carolina, with Kate Stewart to celebrate the Ravenhood trilogy there. Yeah, I get out.
So when you go to these different places, you said you're going to North Carolina, do you ever try and like, get away and like, go hiking and do all that kind of stuff while you're there? Or are you just in the convention experience?
No, anytime I travel anywhere, it's about seeing something unique to that space and eating something special from that region. So that's, if I haven't done those two things when I go anywhere, it feels like a missed opportunity.
Have you been to Indianapolis before?
Oh, yeah. I actually saw Radiohead in Indianapolis. And I believe I went to some German brew house beforehand and had a beer and a brat.
What I was going to ask you was, did you have a pork tenderloin while you were here?
No.
You got to come to Indy.
All right.
You let me know. I'll be here. We're going to get you a pork tenderloin. It's literally just like it's huge. It's like the biggest pork. You know what a pork tenderloin is, right? Like it's just pork.
Sure.
It's like beat to death, and it's huge, and it's literally just on a normal hamburger bun, and it just is. It's insane. There's no reason to have a bun on it, if I'm being honest. Like I cut the sides off and then eat it like a normal sandwich. But like they're pretty good. They're like a staple for Indianapolis. The pork tenderloins. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for tuning in to the Can't Commit to a Book Club, tentatively sponsored by Cracker Barrel.
Oh man, wouldn't that be great?
There you go. Just
but Joe,
the outro, you can pull that if they say yes.
If I get a sponsorship, I will be sending you so much hash brown casserole.
Okay.
I'll be like, Joe also needs a cut of this because he helped.
All right. Just thank you so much for having me. It's been delightful chatting. So thank you for having me. Enjoy your chocolate chip Pop-Tart, and I'll see you around or in your ears.
Maybe when your next book comes out, we could chat again.
Sounds great. It's a date.
Thanks, Joe, for being here with me on the Can't Commit to a Book Club. Book Club sponsored by the KJ Today Show. Guys, please make sure you rate, review, and subscribe to the KJ Today Show channel. And you can follow Joe in all the places at The Real Joe Arden. Please keep a lookout for anything Joe is doing because he's doing a lot of stuff.
Thank you.
Don't you guys just love Joe Arden? I think me and him are best friends now. I'm going to have to double check and make sure, but I'm pretty sure that we are. If you guys want to watch more interviews like this one and you want to see my book reviews, you can go to youtube.com/KJ Today. And if you want to read my book reviews, you can go to kjontheair.com.